Well, when you're done with the coffee and you need to, like, I need a manicure and a pedicure. Seriously. And this time, you know what I mean? Don't go so far. I don't want to have bleeding toenails. Oh, Pika, we're rolling. Little bastard. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Happy Friday. It is time for the Comics Coffee Table. Pull up a chair, grab a cup of whatever it is you're shoving under your nose today there, Pally. Sizzle chest, tough guy, chowder head. We are a geeky chill stream, and we hang out 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern daily. And we talk about our hobby and our love of it. We talk about comic books. We leave the real world's problems over there just for a few moments in our busy day. Take our minds off our minds and remember what it is to be a fan of serialized entertainment known as the floppy, the comic book. I'm a big fan of them, and so are you. If you love comics as much as I do, you're in the right time. You're in the right place at the right time. Hopefully that you are part of the live stream. I mean, the live chat premiere. Just to be honest, this is pre-recorded, but live before a studio audience of my stuffed animals from our Boston studios. Hello and welcome back. We meet here at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern daily to talk about comic books. At the Comics Coffee Table. The coffee table was always where my friends and I would hang out. There would always be a stack of books, a stack. There would be movies. There'd be music. There'd be video games. And funny books. Stacks of funny books. And we were always trying to get each other to read and talk about. And it's in that spirit we meet here at this at our very own Comics Coffee Table. I hope you brought a snack. I like cookies. I don't mind oatmeal raisin cookies. If you don't like them, pass them over to me. I'll make them disappear. I'll give them a watery grave tomorrow. Trust me. I love oatmeal raisin cookies. I love chocolate chip cookies. I love Oreo cookies. My waistline is living proof of how much I love cookies. How are you doing today? Happy Friday. The weekend's almost here. If you have weekends. Just to let you know that tonight at 6 p.m. I'm going to be on Pacific 414's channel. We're going to be talking about Star Trek. We love Star Trek, and I was invited to come on to talk about Star Trek. So I'll leave the link in the description. Why not? I'll make a community note later too, around showtime, and look on social media, X, Twitter. I don't do Insta, I don't do Facebook, but I do Shitter, because the X is and it's usually where thoughts go to die, and I can stream into the void, usually. And I got a lot of shit for that, and it's no longer a safe space to stream into the void anymore. Where else am I going to stream into? You? No, Pika. I'm not going to burden you with that. Thank you so very much for tuning in. We are the Comics Coffee Table. We, me, yous guys, everyone that's in the live chat premiere, and everyone that contributes to the Comic Book Shop-Style Conversations in the comment section as well. We keep this Comic Book Shop-Style Conversation going. We are a geeky chill stream. We'd like to try to keep it as positive as possible in this, dumpster fire that we call modern pop culture and internet life. It's hard sometimes. Seriously, I get riled up. I can be outragey with the best of them. I've spent my entire life negotiating my anger and the entitlement and its impact on other people. I'm a spiritual guy because of that. But hey, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern daily. Tune in. Click on those notifications. ring that bell, subscribe, smash that like button, all the above. Make it, we're here to hang out and have a good time. And usually not at anyone's expense, at our own expense, or the money that we spend at our local comic book shops. I'm not only the Hair Club president, I'm also a client. No, that's an old joke that the youngins won't get. Yet I am literally an advocate. It's my mission. It's my platforming and messaging, and my amplification. That, get your ass back to the local comic book shop, your LCS, the mom and pop brick and mortar shop, and spend your money there. I am reboxing, reboarding, and rebagging my entire comic book collection, and I need supplies. I am not getting my supplies at the big box store or from my online supply chain. The one with the built-in movie network and the free shipping, and I could be getting a decent price break on all my supplies. But how is that helping keeping my local comic book shops open? I need to be going there to my local businesses and spending my money there. Seriously, they need our patronage. You need supplies, they need your business. We're in a symbiotic relationship here, like the Gungans and the Naboo back in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Very, very misunderstood masterpiece. And, I need supplies. I am agreeing to pay the retail markup. I am. And because when or if my comic book shop ever closes, it's not going to get replaced. That's not the marketplace anymore. They're a dwindling resource. I feel there will always be a niche boutique shop for comics. Yes. But the direct market as we know it is changing. Floppies as we know it are changing. They're under the illusion that the big two don't know who they're making comics for anymore. I think they're coming out of that dream-like fugue because more and more, there are more and more satisfying comics for old readers, for superhero readers. It's not hard to do. It's easy to screw up if you get the wrong people in the wrong jobs. But that's like that in any industry. So I'm rooting for comics. I really am. I'm rooting for the direct market. I'm rooting for the big two. I'm even rooting for, as a spiritual man, I should be rooting for those who have blocked me on Twitter for adjacency reasons and because they think I'm a bad person. I should be rooting for them. It's hard to. I really don't want to. Seriously. That's nothing is more disparaging to product than these uppity, entitled, creators. Now, Tom King, I gave you a rash of shit, and I earned that block. I can respect that. But everyone else, it's like, are you kidding me? How am I supposed to buy your magazine? I'm not. And seriously, you should have a non-disparaging clause in your contracts, the way we do. It's not like, you need to be selling this to everyone as humanly possible. You know how I feel about that. But I'm getting my boxes. I'm getting my I'm getting my ass to the store. My acid-free boards. In my bags. I'm getting them all at my local comic book shop. These all add up, but it all adds up for them too. Yeah, they need our business. We need their stores. It's a circle. The circle of life. I hate Disney. Let's not go there. All right, just keep it positive. Keep it positive. What? Okay, yeah. Duckies and bunnies. 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 How can you be mad when you see little duckies and little bunnies in your inner vision? Yeah, duckies and bunnies. It's a good mantra. Try it. Awesome. We are moving from my long boxes to short boxes. I'm cheating a lot of the time too. Some of these comics, they're dollar bin worthy. They don't need a new bag. They don't need a board. They're not gonna. I need to negotiate my collection, or as I like to call it, my funny book accumulation, because I get very few runs. I got very few collections. Most of it is just this past 20 years of buying floppies. I came back in 2001. So this is about 22 years worth of Wednesdays, and that I need to find a new place for in my home. And the older I get, the heavier these long boxes get. So I'm breaking them down into smaller boxes, the short boxes, and it's a good mission to have, and I think it makes a great show because we get to spend some time talking about something we love, comic books. I love comics, and I'm glad you do too. And thank you for being here with us. Let's get to it. Let's start bagging and boarding. I didn't know if I should bag and board these. I got these are some Vertigo titles from before. Let's look up Vertigo real quick. Let's go to the wiki. That's right, because we love reading from wikis. Vertigo Comics. Here we are at the wiki. It's defunct as of January 5th, 2020. Its successor was Black Label at DC Comics. It was founded in 1993, and the founder is its original editor, Karen Berger. Karen's is plying her trade over at Dark Horse Comics now. She's got an imprint called Berger Books. Good on her. And in the early 90s, they had this, in the late 80s rather, you had all of these new DC attempts at more mature titles on better paper stock, with better cover stock as well. And a lot of, it was the British invasion, where you got writers like Grant Morrison and Alan Moore and Garth Ennis, Mark Miller. There were let's read from the wiki real quick. Vertigo Comics, also known as DC Vertigo or simply Vertigo, was an imprint of the American comic book publisher DC Comics, started by editor Karen Berger in 1993. Vertigo's purpose was to publish comics with adult content such as nudity, drug use, profanity, and graphic violence that did not fit the restrictions of DC's main line, thus allowing more creative freedom. Its titles consisted of company-owned comics set in the DC universe, such as Sandman and Hellblazer, and also eventually Swamp Thing, Animal Man, and Doom Patrol. And creator-owned works a little later on, such as Preacher, Why the Last Man, and Fables, and like DMZ, Northlanders, the list goes on and on. There's just a murderer's row of talent that came out of Vertigo. Vertigo grew out of DC's mature readers line of the 80s, which began after DC stopped submitting Saga of Swamp Thing for approval by the Comics Code Authority. And following the success of two adult-oriented 1986 limited series, Batman The Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen, DC's output of mature reader titles, edited by Karen Berger, grew. And by 1992, DC's mature readers line was editorial separate from its main line. And so that's where you have this divergence of Sandman and Hellblazer used to be front and center in the DC superhero universe. And then in 92, it just quietly separated from it. Seriously. And that's why also the Copper Age of comics runs from 1984 to 1993, because you have two things that happen. One, Vertigo Comics, and two, Image, the Image Revolution. I, on the other hand, see 1993 as an important part of the Copper Age. I would like to extend the Copper Age up until 2000 because I want to have a nice 15-year era, such as the Silver and Bronze Ages, and make the Copper Age a 15-year era, and include the speculator implosion and then the Renaissance that came at the end of the 20th century. And that's just my personal opinion, but I will abide with the ages listed in the glossary of the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide. So we're in a current comic book era from 1993 until today. That's 30 years. I can fit 2 eras in there. That's just my personal opinion, but I will abide by the industry standard. I will. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Hey-o, waka waka. Let's see about the end of it. The imprint began to decline in the 2010s as certain properties like Hellblazer and Swamp Thing were reintegrated into DC's main comic books, and that came with the new 52. Hellblazer became younger, a lot more gayer too, because he, canonically is bisexual, and Swamp Thing, went back to New 52 DC, as did Animal Man as well, which had that's what I missed, and I heard I should go back and check out. But certain properties like Hellblazer and Swamp Thing were reintegrated into DC's main comic books, while Berger herself departed in 2013. Berger's departure was followed by a series of editorial restructures, culminating in the imprint's relaunch as DC Vertigo in 2018. However, the relaunch suffered a multitude of setbacks, including numerous cancellations. Vertigo imprint was discontinued in January of 2020 by DC's as part of a plan to publish all the company's comics under a single banner, with DC Black Label taking its place as the DC Mature Readers imprint. And I hear a lot of that has to do with the problematic editor-in-chief at the time, Andy Curry, and how, that's something I would need to look further into. But DC's Vertigo, for me personally, it's comics excellence. Art-wise, storytelling-wise, it was brave, it was bold, it was dynamic, and it lent to us, the reader, a new aspect. And so we're a bit more kind of violent and adult and graphic to hang out. Comics were not for kids anymore, huh? And so I've got a couple of Vertigo books from the end of Karen Berger's reign. This is from 100 Bullets. Came the creative team of Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Risso. I got to speak with them both at Boston Wicked Comic Con 2023 back in April, and it was nice. I got to tell Azzarello about my love of his Constantine Hellblazer run, which he was like, that? Because it was pretty controversial. Because I honestly think it predicted Pornhub and OnlyFans with his High Water, with the art called High Water. It was really kind of graphic, disgusting, and adult, but it really predicted this pervasive internet smut and the permissions we give to produce it. And High Water was really graphic and really, really adult, and with amazing art by Marcelo Frusin as well. He also did Hard Time with Richard Corbin, and then Life and Death in L.A., which Brian Azzarello basically was the first American writer to write John Constantine, thus bringing John to the United States for basically a walking tour, because John doesn't drive, and that's part of the charm of it. So Eduardo Risso is like a battery mate, if you think of baseball being the pitcher and the catcher. And so 100 Bullets was a it was the early aughts. Yes, you guessed it. Reading from the wiki. 100 Bullets is an American comic book published by Vertigo, written by Azzarello, illustrated by Riso. It ran for 100 issues. That was the point. It had these. Every cover was art. It was so good. I wanted to get a blown up poster of like the needle one. That was just so. It was like a stranger comes up to you and gives you a briefcase with an untraceable gun with 100 bullets, and you can do anything you want to do with it. And like revenge, and they usually gave it to vengeful people, but by doing so, you entered into a pact with a criminal organization, and it was it won Eisner and Harvey awards. Both the writing and artwork in 100 Bullets exemplifies the noir and pulp genres of popular modern fiction. Consistent with noir conventions, most of the characters are deeply flawed. As is common in pulp and noir genres, 100 Bullets frequently portrayed stylized and graphic violence. 100 Bullets is also notable for Azzarello's realistic use of regional and local accents. And he really nailed my Boston local speak here, where we drop our R's. Can you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth, Chowderhead? as well as the frequent use of slang and oblique metaphorical language in his characters' dialogue. The core concept of 100 Bullets is based on the question of people willing to act on the desire of violent revenge if given the means, opportunity, and a reasonable chance to succeed. And there's Agent Graves, and there's also Lono, who's one of the killers. And in this, it's about Brother Lono, and Lono has, is kind of faking a spirituality in order to to move the plot along and to get what he came for, which is just hilarity and insanity and gunplay, cussing, and it's like a non-mutant. Brother Lono would be like a non-mutant Wolverine, armed with guns instead of claws. Hey, look, the Flashpoint paradox. This has actually made more sense and is a better story of Flashpoint told than the comic book itself, really. Let's look at some art. Look, comic book ads. We have video game ads. Just the lighting, the art in this is just so wonderful. The sexy women Eduardo Risso would draw. That onomatopoeia, that's just, I asked him, like, you did this, right? Because I thought that Clem Robbins did the onomatopoeia, and I was wrong because I was reading his Sergeant Rock. And I was like, no. I was like, Robbins didn't do the lettering, but the rat-a-tat-tat stayed the same. And, he's just these beautiful women that Eduardo Risso draws. And this came out, the Indicia, 2013. So right about the time where Karen Berger's stepping away from. So here's the masthead. Let's see. Diane Nelson, president. Dan DiDio, Jim Lee, co-publishers. Mark Chiarello, VP. Design. Courtney Simmons, Bob Wayne, Allison Gill. I don't see. Do you see Karen Berger's name on this masthead? I don't. It's Hank Canals, Senior VP Vertigo, Integrated Publishing. Wow. So this is probably right after she left. And when she left, she took the magic with her. Seriously. But yeah, this is El Hombre Respira. I mean, the man breathes. He lives. He was given up for dead at the end of 100 Bullets, which I never finished. I read at least the first 50 issues, and I kind of just I went through a time where I didn't want it anymore, but, starts off, issue 1, digging a grave, actually burying a grave. But Lono is known for his Hawaiian shirts and his bad attitude And but yeah, look at that onomatopoeia. That's Eduardo Rizzo. He's just like, oh man, and it's hyper violent, and it's just like, oh man, I forgot how good this stuff is. The girl with the dragon tattoo. Anyone? I missed that one. I didn't read any of that. Wonder Woman. Is this Azarello Chiang? Yeah, that was actually really, really decent. I'm looking for some of that. Oh, Trinity War. Hey, look, these events, they come, they go, and then there you are. Yeah, that's Brother Lono. That's one part of it. I gotta find this issue 1. It's hanging. I need the issue 8 to complete this. I know issue 1's around here somewhere because I know I completed this. I know purposefully I didn't get the last issue of this. I did not. Well, not on purpose. I just missed out on it. But this is the same team around the same time. This is Spaceman. So something like this would be like in a Kickstarter or Indiegogo in the crowdfunding realm. Spaceman, done by the creative team of 100 Bullets. Same style, same kind of coloring. You have these genetically modified humans that are more ape-like than human, but they were bred to survive the round trip to Mars, and they were given simple instruction, so they can do simple tasks and everything. And now they're back on Earth and trying to figure out life on Earth. But so yeah, Karen Berger, right there at the top of the masthead. And this was January of 2012. So yeah, I gotta find issue 1. I know it's somewhere in the mix. Like there's a kidnapping of some like reality star child, and Spaceman is on the case. And but did he actually go to Mars, or is it all in his head? So it's got an interesting, quirky ending. And yeah, I will find that issue 1. It's somewhere around here. I'm surprised it's not all together. Oh well, we'll get back to that in a moment. Brother Lono. I think everything's set in Mexico with the cartels and the violence that comes along with it. So everything has a like a Spanish flair. El amor del muerto, the love of death. El monstruo del norte, the northern monster. That wasn't hard to figure out, was it? But I need issue 8 of this. So I reached out to my friend Yule Carter of Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California, because I would rather give him the business. So if he's got issue 8, he knows he can sell. He's going to sell it to me if he can. And he's got a link. I got his link in the description. If you need a local comic book shop, hit up Yule Carter at Fantastic Comics of Berkeley, California. He owns the comic book shop, so he's got a great channel. And he comes from the perspective of not just a comic book fan, but of a comic book shop in this current age, of new releases and of his opinion is he's got a good opinion, and I like what he has to say. But if I can give him the business, and I'm happy to send business his way. If you need a funny book, hit Yule up. The link is in the description. You can get a hold of him. Yeah, but 100 Bullets. I mean, I got halfway on that, and that was I mean, that was it was conspiracy and violence and sexy women and hyper masculine men, toxic masculinity. You would never be able to get that made today. Surprised it was never made into a show. And here's issue 7, and I got one more to go. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't complete that. I fell off. I just fell off. It happens. But you can always go back and find it if that's in the cards. But like I said, it's like we got all these dings of corners and spine roll, which are indicative of an Eric O'Sullivan comic book. Here we go. And we are bagged, we have rebagged, we have reboarded, and we are going to put that in the box. There we go. So another one down. Oh man, now I want to go through all my comic books and find where issue 1 of this went. I actually enjoyed this. It was a little confounding at the end. Was it all in his mind? Or did they really go to Mars? You know? It's exactly. I mean, Spaceman on Vertigo. Check it out. I'll find issue 1. It's around here somewhere. I know that. Well, thank you so very much for tuning in today. Happy Friday. And join us tonight. Yeah, over Pacific 414, his channel. He's having he invited me to be on the panel tonight. We're going to be talking about our love of Star Trek. I love Star Trek. Look at all that Star Trek. You came to the right place. I'm gonna wear my science officer shirt. I'm serious. I love Star Trek. Well, real Star Trek. Star Trek between 1966 and 2005. That's real Star Trek. I mean, this stuff that's on CBS All Access and Paramount Plus, that's not real Star Trek. You know, the closest thing that they made to real Star Trek got to be Picard Season 3, which is coming out on physical media, and then I'm going to wait and find a used copy because I'm blocked on Twitter by Paramount Plus, Star Trek at Paramount Plus. So how the F am I supposed to want to spend my money with that product? No, no, I'd be a sucker. It's like I would be a sucker to buy an Alyssa Wong, Greg Pak, Donny Cates, Dan Slott book. I'd be a sucker to buy any of theirs. You know. Here's the outrage. I got my Irish up. Woof. Indeed. Well, thank you so very much. Yeah, tune into Pacific 414 tonight. I'll leave a link. And have a great day and a great weekend. We will see you. We'll see you later, alligator. Hit that like button, turn on those notifications, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. We make daily content here talking about comic books every day. We're back in the swing of things. 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. Join us. And if you can, make the live chat premiere. If you can't, continue this comic book shop-style conversation in the comment section. I'm a professional chef. We talk about cooking. I'm a spiritual guy, an ordained minister. We talk about spirituality, gratitude, and purpose. I like cute bunnies that nibble on the lawns in the morning. I take little videos of them. I say, be like the bunny, eat your breakfast, and hop to it. Yeah, just little things. I get subscribers from that too, making these shorts, And yeah, I'm just trying to pimp my station, and grow and be part of that growth and be part of the channel. Thank you so very much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again tomorrow in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye.